Celebrity endorsement has been one of the most important marketing principles in the marketing discipline. Advertising practitioners use celebrity endorsers in hopes that a celebrity breaks clutter, increases a favorable attitude towards the ads, boosts sales, and increases brand recall. And now that TV has ceded some of its power to digital media, celebrity endorsement has begun to permeate on social media. Thanks to social media, you can form parasocial relationships with quite of an ease and stay up to date on many of the personal events that the celebrity is showing now. And this trend of celebrities and fans using social media as a tool to nurture their relationship empowers social media as a strong marketing tool. What the fuck's happening there? Damn. And it's about a similar price for Ariana Grande as well, like 1.5 million for a story or a post. And as celebrities post more on social media, their fans are naturally going to interact more as well by posting maybe their opinions or maybe something they like about themselves, maybe like music, or if they're a sports player, maybe their fitness stuff, if that makes sense. An individual's level of connectedness to the favorite celebrity is both related to the receptivity toward the celebrity endorsed message and purchase intentions of the celebrity endorsed brand. And the companies and the celebrities are making profit at the end of the day, which is earned by promoting these parasocial relationships. Yet, I don't think it's enough highlighted how detrimental these relationships are. Due to this increased exposure of celebrities, people have become attached to them, trying to find similarities or commonalities between themselves and their favorite celebrity. And this vast array of exposure may have led to an intensification of the celebrity worship syndrome to an extent. The access we have been granted by social media has allowed us to take a sneak peek in the celebrities' world, or it feels as a sneak peek in the celebrities' world. However, for some people, that tiny glimpse of their lifestyle just on social media could be a lot more than just a tiny glimpse. A lot of celebrity worshippers go through dissociation, increased tendency towards addiction, criminality, stalking behavior, compulsive buying, depression, and anxiety. Firstly, I'd like to also mention that during my research, I came across an article which was cited by like multiple news coverage, I guess, or like news coverage articles, that this article has found a relationship between, as celebrity worship increases, that the tendency of cognitive abilities tend to decrease. And I like to mention that the authors of this article has also mentioned that to approach this conclusion with a caution, because there are multiple factors that go into someone's cognitive ability skills, like lack of education, or maybe it's related to their upbringing and whatnot. Meanwhile, I'd like to talk about a song by Kendrick Lamar from his album To Pimp a Butterfly, a song called Mortal Man, where the chorus, or the hook of the song, asks his fans, when shit hits the fan, is you still a fan? Throughout the song, Kendrick mentions how that as much as he'd love to be praised as someone like, for instance, Nelson Mandela, that's what he says in the song, he has too many flaws within himself, or he's scared that in the future someone might just mess up his life. Maybe a police will plant drugs in his car, and he asks his fan, would people still see him as Kendrick Lamar or as a drug dealer or essentially a criminal or something? I think this is a very interesting song where Kendrick is literally questioning his fans. Would people still support him, or would they start criticizing him? And to answer Kendrick's question of the song, when shit hits the fan, is you still a fan? Although the answer will be, speaking on a general like public level, the answer will be very mixed. Of course, there's gonna be some people to criticize. Of course, there's some people be fans. But seeing on the internet last year, the answer seems to be yes, or heading towards yes. I think an obvious example of this is looking at Andrew Tate's fans, who still think that it's the media just brainwashing people or painting him as the villain or something, which is crazy approach when he's literally been exposed to be a human trafficker. And I think even for compulsive buying, you can see that a lot of these people look up to fashion models like Wisdom, for instance, who is an amazing stylist. First of all, he's crazy, but they look up to someone like Wisdom or like any other fashion model and see that we need these clothes that they're wearing, and we end up buying so many clothes and then never wearing them. I remember in lockdown in like 2020, so it's been a while, but in lockdown 2020, I saw someone post on the Snapchat story that Rihanna deserved to be abused because they wanted because people still criticize Chris Brown for his behavior, and people people were saying that Rihanna deserved to be abused, which is crazy. Like, yeah, man, like someone definitely deserves to be traumatized and abused by someone. It's just crazy to me that people are like that, and I think these type of examples can be just seen everywhere on the internet or on social media by just like a little scroll. I'm sure anyone can find any examples by just a little scroll or a little search on the internet. And when it comes to depression and loneliness, people like Ludwig, for instance, the Twitch streamer, he had to come out and say that he's not your friend because people started to rely on his escapism essentially to feel better, and people constantly telling him that he's the one who had happened to save their lives, which is a lot of responsibility for the celebrity as well, because at the end of the day, they are just entertainers. They are someone who provide that escapism for you. This is work for them at the end of the day, rather than a responsibility of making everyone feel better essentially. And I think because of this, a lot of people started to emulate their favorite celebrity or their influencers behavior, which is not really the solution to their lives, really. Because just because they see that amount of followers or likes this one influencer or celebrity has, they think that they might be socially accepted in this social media world or even in this real world. Honestly, is there even a difference between the social media world and the real world? And since social media has provided us with these idealized images of people, and people trying to emulate them or trying to live up to them, and according to my research, or multiple news articles have covered this as well, this has produced unanticipated self-esteem issues. Another thing I'd like to highlight is Childish Gambino's music video or song "This Is America." The obvious metaphor of the song or like the music video throughout the song is how celebrities distract people from what's happening in the world when they provide escapism essentially, and people, rather than fixing the problems in the world and or something, they would record celebrities, try to mimic them. But I think an important part of this music video is the ending. By the way, this can be interpreted in multiple ways. I'm sure I'm just scratching the surface, but towards the end of the song or the music video, he's being chased by multiple people, and I interpret it as let's just say a celebrity makes a mistake, or and the mistake kind of like, let's say, relates to like a societal problem in the world. I think Gambino over here is highlighting how, rather than fixing the problem or something, or like a societal ingrained problem, we want to fix a celebrity instead. And it's just, sorry, Donald Glover is just amazing. Going back to the cognitive abilities that I had mentioned a while back, people, or according to my research again, people who tend to do have higher cognitive abilities, they tend to have a healthier appreciation rather than an obsessive one with the celebrities. They understand how celebrities work and how marketing works and whatnot. And by mentioning this, I don't mean that people who don't know this are dumb by any means. I don't think that's the case. The case is that we're not taught about this. People are not taught about this at school. People, again, like the lack of education, or maybe it's related to their upbringing and whatnot. There could be multiple factors to this. Critical thinking isn't promoted as much, if that makes sense. People want you to kind of just take answers, and I think that's a problem of not being open-minded and opening up to yourself to multiple perspectives. Because I think that everyone's trying to better themselves and they don't know how to, so they turn to celebrities or people who have a large following to find an answer for themselves. Sadly, that's just not how things are, to emulate someone else's behavior, because everyone else has a different life and work differently, rather than forcing themselves to work same as someone else. The real answer is like, we have to look at the way the Greek philosophers worked, or the Greek tradition, where they were huge believers in trial and error. They were opening up to trying out new things, and it is a very long-term process. But I think this long-term process is how people figure out about themselves rather than finding something short-term on the internet, for instance. Just because a philosophy YouTube channel came out with a video saying that it is a critical mistake to follow your passion for your job or as a career in your life, that doesn't really mean that you should base your own conclusion based on that one video that this one person has put out. You should maybe do a little more research, maybe open yourself to more perspectives, trying to figure out some new people. You get the point. And another thing I'd like to highlight is the rewarding system on social media. This emphasis on numbers, especially. Let's say that someone comes across a clip and that has like 1 million likes, goes to the comments, someone says that this person is amazing, they saved their lives or something, has like another 10k likes, and naturally that person will force them to listen to that clip even more and think that, okay, a lot of people tend to like this, a lot of people say that this person saved their life or something, so I must follow this person. That means, and I think that's the problem, the fact that everything is rewarded on social media through likes and or comments. Even something like hate speech or like misogynistic beliefs are also reported because there's some people who genuinely believe in some of these things, which is scary to think, I'm sure, but I think that's just how it is, really. People look at someone who has like multiple likes or followers and think that this is a person who's liked by a lot of people and I must become like them in order to be likable version of myself. Yet a lot of people aren't really educated about how these influencers work or how these celebrities work. Some of them aren't even independent. They could be, like, for instance, a musician. A lot of them are bound to their music labels because they enforce their persona or force them to portray themselves a certain way so they can sell their music or their products. Same for other influencers. Maybe when they start off their YouTube channel or the Instagram account, they were enforcing or portraying themselves a certain way, but if they try to move away from that, it will ultimately result in some type of loss. At the end of the day, again, this is something that's work for these celebrities. They don't really care about their followers and whatnot. They can't, because there's 1 million people. Caring about 1 million people is exhausting, I'm sure. At the end of the day, it is work and they're just trying to make profit. Honestly, this whole thing kind of makes you think whether you really make your own decisions or not. Maybe sometimes we're just forced to make a decision without really like consciously thinking about it, if that makes sense, which is scary to think about, honestly. Sounds very dystopian. These people are also just people who can't disclose their personal information to the world because it might tarnish their persona, or people, they might lose some viewership or something in some cases, or some followers, or which results in losing income for them. And I think this is probably like why it's important to be taught about social media and how it can be such a detrimental place, especially for children or like young teenagers. Imagine being raised with idealized images and a huge emphasis on numbers. That's just a terrible life to live by, really. Just thinking that I need to be socially accepted. If I follow this one idealized image, I will 100% be better in life or something. And being raised in that type of environment is scary, really. It is terrifying. And sadly, I believe that it is starting to become like that for a lot of people. In conclusion, social media is bad.